Hello, I'm Dell with Healing Frequencies Music, and this is the introductory lesson, or the sample free lesson for the Frequency Basics class. If you click below in the box there, I put a link directly to the class so that you can see all of the 30 modules that go with it and the information that's in it. And this video will be part of the sample lesson that it's at the very bottom of that thread. So feel free to go read all the information there and check it out and watch this video there. Share it with your friends, anyone else who you think might be interested in the class. Frequency Basics is a 30-module course that's conducted in a forum setting where you get to interact with one another. I keep adding content because the subject of frequencies is an ever-growing subject, and we find out more stuff all the time, which is one of the reasons I give people full access to the course for a permanent basis. So once you register, whatever price point you register at, that's the price that you pay for the duration, which is forever. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this particular class, and then we're going to move on. And if you want to read more about the rest of the class, feel free. Go check out the link, and then make sure you read the full lesson. So this lesson is about harmony, rhythm, and melody in music. And as you see, I'm sitting at my piano to demonstrate some of those things, and then how those three things bring a governmental authority of music. Because when you have three things that work really well together, that creates a bond, or as we say, a governmental bond in that, so that those three things work nicely together. The example that I give in the lesson is we have the three branches of government that seem to work in many nations in the world. You have the executive, judicial, and legislative branches that are supposed to work together. Now, sometimes they do better than others, but many governments have set up their governmental systems with those three branches to work together in harmony and unity. That was the intention. And you can think of all the threesomes that are out there in the world that are part of a unit that requires all those pieces to work together. And I give some suggestions in the actual class. I give a couple in the sample lesson, so head on over there and see what else that I'm saying. Here, if you take a look at music and then you put that with a lot of other things that are in nature around us, that are just in the cosmos, in the world, they're all interconnected. And music is one of those ways to explain it. I mean, there's not only melody in music, but there's melody around us. Rhythm is completely everywhere you are, there's rhythm. You may not recognize it as musical rhythm, but there's rhythm. And there's harmony, where you have two things that work really well together. That's part of what, when you're taking three creative things, like the judicial, the judicial, executive, and legislative branches, those are each part of the chord or the harmony that makes that government work. It's the same way in music. And so through music, I'm describing to you how everything works. Melody is a bunch of successive notes. You know, here I'm playing a scale, which is made up of 8 notes. The first and the eighth note presents an octave. And then if you have the first note and you're only playing that, then you've got your, that's what they call a unison. If I were to play with both fingers, I'd have a unison, because it's the same note. You can't tell the difference. But once I start, now I've got 4 octaves of notes. Now I've got another 4. And I can keep going up and down the keyboard because there's 8 C's on the piano, and those are all octaves of one another. So when you have a whole bunch of notes together, that could be a melody. I mean, think about it. Here's a song. You hear that? That is just a D major scale that is descending, that somebody made a melody out of. And I'm sure that almost every one of you listening knows what that song is. Let me play it again. Okay. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. I have to sing it an octave lower, because everything I do is below sea level, middle sea level. Anyway, so there's a melody that's made out of a scale. Now, here's a sample. I'll try to play it. I need to read through the bottom of my glasses. But this is a sample of a melody from a Scott Joplin rag called Pineapple Rag that has the melody in both the right hand and the left hand. I am playing them in octaves. That's the introduction. And then when the song continues to go on, the melody stays in the right hand, and then we have this in the left hand. That's an accompaniment. It's creating a rhythm. But the melody is. And it just continues going on. So you have those two superimposed on top of each other. So there we have melody, harmony, and rhythm all together. Then, you know, I picked a couple of different examples here for you. So let's move on to something I found out of John Thompson's Modern Piano Course. This is called Sarabande, and it's a piece by George Frederick Handel. And see if you can identify the melody. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, and the melody is kind of hidden in this example. All right, so there's a lot of notes. So we have the melody, we have the harmony, which is all the other notes that are not in the melody, and then we have the rhythm. If you could tap a pulse to that, it would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. That is the pulse. That is that steady pulse. And the rhythm is is all the stuff that's in between the steady pulse. So just for a moment, try seeing if you can clap along with this. I'll play it again. So you can clap the pulse. Okay, so hopefully you are sitting there going like this. That is the pulse. That is the underlying time from this point to this point. The rhythm is all the stuff that's between those pulses. Now, were you able to identify the melody? You hear these chords. Most of the time, that melody is going to be the top notes. Here's the melody. Whoops, I added the rest of the chord. So that's the first phrase of that melody, and then it continues doing it again. So now I'm going to play it again and see if you can hum along with that melody. We often think of a melody as something that is hummable, something that you can do, that you can sing to. You walk out of a grocery store, you walk into a concert, and you leave the concert, and you're able to sing the main melody that the singer is doing. Instrumental music, you can still hear it. Now this is an instrumental piece. So I would just sing it on la or make up your own words or something, but see if you can sing along with this melody. Here goes. So that's the first two phrases of the melody. Now, all of that other stuff in between is the harmony. So here's a chord. The melody is the top note of the chord, but it's not necessarily the main note of the chord. This just happens to be a D minor chord. And the melody starts on an F. Then the next chord is an A major chord. And the melody is the E. Even though it's an A major, then you have this walking bass line. And then now we have an F major chord. And the melody is the A. Then we go to a C major chord. And the melody is the note G. Then you have this walking bass line. And that is a D major chord. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. We go to G minor. That's what I was looking for. With the B flat as the main note of the melody. But you have all these chords which are creating harmony. So let me just play the chords that are the underlying harmony of this tune. Measure 1, measure 2, measure 3, measure 4, measure 5, measure 6, measure 7, and measure 8. So even if I do nothing, this thing kind of likes to fall off. Okay, this is the microphone, so I'll just set it here. If I play this and do not play the melody, you should just be able to sing the melody with it. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to try because it's kind of high for me, but there's your starting note if you want to sing along. So I'm going to play it again, just the chords, and see if you can sing the melody over the harmony that I'm playing. So there's your starting note. So let me play the melody one more time so you can hear it. It is. Now you can choose to make up another melody if you wish, or you can sing that one. So I'm going to play just the chords again and see if you can sing that melody with it. I'm going to stop there. To our D minor. So every melody, at least in Western music, they're going to be chords that back up. And chords come in what we call a progression, which is from one chord to another, to another, to another, that makes sense in whatever key. This key happens to be D minor. So all of the chords, well, not all of them, a majority of the chords that are in here are going to fit within the key of D minor. You know, and we have different terms for that in music, and you can hear it. So in this particular example, you heard me play the melody, then you heard the rhythm in the background, And all the harmony is all the stuff that's in between. Now, I picked another song, which if you're from the state of Idaho, you will recognize what this song is. I'm not going to tell you. You have to figure it out. Now, I'm just going to play through it. And then I'm going to ask you a couple questions when we're done. Sorry for the wrong note. My finger hit an E flat. Okay. Now, when you heard that, did you want to move? I mean, it's that waltz. I am presenting the steady beat. You know, it went like this. It makes me want to flow like this. So there is movement in rhythm. So rhythm is movement. And in this case, one of the reasons I picked this particular song is it happened to be sitting on my piano, and it really demonstrates movement. There's nothing like a waltz feel, that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, that makes you want to get up and move. Now, this would be the harmony. If you've ever sung in choir, that would be most often the alto, the tenor, and the bass parts. The sopranos, unfortunately, seem to always get the melody. Not always, but you know, if you're singing hymns or things like that, the melody is typically in the top part, but that is not always the case. So what I did there was I simply played the harmony. Here is the melody. Oh, there we go. And see, I'm swaying to it. So there you've got the melody. And if I play just the right hand part, you've got the melody and the harmony together. You have to have 2 notes to create harmony. You can have more than 2 notes, but you have to have at least 2 notes. And when you have 2 notes, you've created an interval. You know, these are all, you know, these are thirds. And then here, we go to 6ths. Okay, and you don't need to know that part, but at the same point, just showing you that harmony is built up of intervals, the distance between 2 notes. And the intervals are going to be different. And there's a link that I put to an article that really pretty well describes this, has a nice little graph that you can take a look at when it comes to specific intervals. So now I'm going to play it again and see if you can come up with a harmony. Even if you're not a singer, just try. Or try to sing the melody. Pick one and see if you can harmonize with it, or you can sing the melody. So here it is. There is your main note, and there is the harmony note. And the left hand is providing rhythm as well as harmony. Whoops. Helps if I play the right notes. Anyway, so let's try it again. I might slow it down just a little bit, just to give you a chance to hear it. So here goes. play the whole thing again and leave the melody out. And you know, it's very much like when you, these pop singers, and they go to competitions, and you know, even if you listen to America's Got Talent or some of these other places where they'll have background tracks, what they provide is the rhythm and the harmony, and they leave the melody to the singer to sing. So if you were to sing with this, you might just have chords that go with it. Da 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 da. Yes, don't judge me on my singing. I'm a clarinet player and pianist, sort of. The cool thing is I demonstrated all aspects of it: melody, rhythm, and harmony. And what it does, it's a connection with everything that music is. And if you go look at the teachings and things of Pythagoras, music is based, the notes are based on simple ratios, which they have found is obvious in the planets and in things within the cosmos. And you're like, okay, so what does that mean? Well, you've got math, you've got music, you've got ratios, they're somehow interconnected, and we literally see it everywhere. So again, this is just a sample lesson to give you an idea of how melody, rhythm, and harmony work in music. And through the course, you're going to learn how that is in pretty much everything around us. And we're just using a musical language to describe how it works. You know, frequency, music is frequency, frequency is energy, energy creates all kinds of stuff. In fact, our entire world is based on energy. And I go into all of that stuff within the 30 lessons. So I hope that you join us in the Frequency Basics class and check out the rest of the lesson below and read the description of the class. Thank you for joining us.